6th of September, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry I'm late.
No problem. I forgive you the whole heart.
Okay. Punct, it was, the Murphy's Law. I said, came a thing, and then Zoom decided to do an update. It took another 2-3 minutes. Anyway, but
that is a good example of Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're on let's see. Pasuk 15, does that sound right? No, 14, I think.
14, up to 14.
Yeah, 14. Ki es asher yesh no ho imanu omeid hayom lifnei Hashem Elokeinu ve'es asher enenu po imanu hayom. So let's see the translation. But with whoever is here standing with us today in front of Hashem, our God, and with whoever is not here with us today. I've never understood this statement.
It makes two of us.
Oh, good. I'm in good company. Okay, let's see if Rashi helps.
No, so my question has always been, why mention the first part of the pasuk? It says, the previous pasuk says, "V'lo itchem levadchem." Who's itchem? Means all those standing here right now.
Right, obviously. Right,
so why does the pasuk have to repeat? Ki es asher yeshno po imonu hayom emed hayom lifnei Hashem Elokeinu ve'es asher enenu po. So it says, she should say, "V'lo itchem levadchem Elokeis b'is hazos v'es ha'azos." Pasuk Gimel. V'gam es asher enenu po imonu hayom. And also, who's not with us here today? The whole first part of the pasuk in the Torah seems superfluous.
That's the first part seems superfluous, and the second part seems nonsensical. So the whole pasuk is questionable.
well, we'll see. I mean, how can we make a covenant with people who don't yet exist?
Right. You can't make an agreement with somebody if that person doesn't agree.
Right.
Take tango.
Can a parent make a covenant or something which will bind his children as well?
What's the halakha say? Can a parent? I don't know. The parents say, my son will pay you, and if that's the case, can he go to
no, so why, and then
the son?
You see, that's a different case. That you're saying that his son will, let's say, I would take upon myself a certain obligation, and I say, let's say, I borrow money from you, and I say my son will pay you back. That's one thing. Because I can't be machayim my son to pay you back. But if I say let's say Reuven says to Shimon, "Can I borrow money from you?" and I agree to pay you back, then unfortunately Reuven passes away. So then Reuven's sons are mechuyev to pay back, but not really as their own obligation, but rather as the obligation of the estate, of Reuven's estate.
Right. They don't have to pay out of their own pocket.
They don't have to pay from their own pocket.
What?
The children don't have to pay from their own pocket.
Right. If the state doesn't have enough money, then they have no obligation.
Right.
So that proves, I think.
How can you ask anything? Let me see what I've got in my notes over here. If I'm sure I have something over here. Netzavim. Oh, I've got a question over here. How is it possible to impose a covenant upon those not yet born? Do we not require their agreement? Arya answers that the Beis Din of Moshe was the ultimate authority, equivalent to the great Sanhedrin. Thus, it had the irrefutable power to obligate future generations, since its acceptance of the covenant was on behalf of the entire nation and not just for those individuals present. See Netzach Yisrael, chapter 11. Netzach Yisrael was a sefer written by the Maharal.
Well, the problem I have with that answer is there's an implication that a regular Beis Din could do something similar. This is the greatest Beis Din, so it has the ultimate authority to do whatever a Beis Din can do.
But it's only the Beis Din that's the supreme authority who can do that. It means the Beis Din Hagadol, the Sanhedrin Hagadol, they can do such a thing.
How?
Any regular Beis Din will not have that power.
Well, I don't get that.
What do you mean?
You can't. I mean, maybe because my understanding of the idea of a Sanhedrin is like a Supreme Court.
It's more than that. It's more. They have. You see, they are the, should we say, the Einei Ha'eda, the representatives, more than that, the leaders of the generation of the congregation. And therefore, they can take upon themselves or have authority to impose an oath, a covenant, a law upon the entire Jewish people, whoever belongs to the Jewish people.
I hear what you're saying, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
Why?
Because it hasn't answered the question, which is how can you make a commitment? How can you make an agreement with somebody who doesn't agree?
It's similar to I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not so familiar with American baseball or football or something like that, but I'm just saying like a soccer team. A guy wants to agree, he wants to play for this soccer team, but they wear blue shirts and he wants to wear a red shirt. Can you do that? No.
Of course not.
Because if you're part of this team, you've got to wear a blue shirt.
Right, but that's what you said. You're part of the team.
Right. So anybody who wants to be a member of the Jewish people, anybody who is, by definition, a member of the Jewish people, is bound by whatever the Sanhedrin designates.
You want to say because my mother was Jewish, I'm part of the team.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, let's move on. We're not going to make.
Okay, right. Let's go. Next pasuk.
Okay, so whoever with whoever is not here, this means, and also with the generations who are destined to be. The footnote says, according to Tanchuma, the verse does not refer to contemporaries who were not present at the assembly. Oh, that really makes it weird.
No, he's going on back and before.
Oh, because it says everybody was there.
Right. Right. Okay.
So it
No,
that includes everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, 15. Excuse me. Ki atem yadatem ace asher yashavnu be'eretz Mitzrayim ve'ace asher avarnu be'kerev hagoyim asher avartem. Because you know that we dwelled in the land of Egypt.
Yeah. So remember, I didn't say that we dwelt, how we dwelt. Let me just check up how I translate.
Translating Asher is how?
Yeah. Ace Asher Yoshavnu. The ace I'm translating is how.
It's just a pointer to the direct object.
Yeah, but you very rarely find ace asher. It means, in a sense, how. Yeah, that's how I translate. For you yourselves are aware of how we lived in the land of Mitzrayim and how we passed among the nations through which you passed. Okay. Let's do the next pasuk because they go together. Rashi's going to put the two psukim together.
That we passed. Okay. Let's see Rashi. For you know, etc., and you saw their abominations.
That's why I suggested read the next pasuk as well because it goes together. 15 and 16 go together.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I was going to say I don't see where he got abominations from. Okay, the tiru es
vatiru
es shikutse hem ve'es gilulehem eitz va'even kesef v'zahav asher a'imahem. And you saw. Now my note says they're despicable items.
Right.
And they're foul idols.
Right.
Of wood and stone. And silver. I'm sorry, of wood and stone, silver and gold.
Those I translated it. And you saw their repugnant and foul idols, those of wood and stone, and those of silver and gold that are with them in their temples.
In their temples?
Yeah.
Rashi's
going to say that.
Temples from?
Rashi's going to add that in.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, let's look at the Rashi now. You saw their detestable things, the despicable items. Lefi she're'isem ha'umos ovdei avoda zara. Because you have seen the nations who worship idols. Vishema he si leiv echad mikem oso, and the heart of one of you might have pursued him.
I don't know.
Lelechet acharehem, to follow them. Pen yesh ba'chem ish o isha.
You know, this is paraphrasing the next pasuk, pasuk 17.
Right. Perhaps there is a man or woman among you. Lefichach, therefore, ani tzarich lahashbi'achem. I require an oath. You to swear.
Right. I need to make you swear. I translation. Therefore, I need to adjure you to oath.
I adjure you to swear. Yeah, that's what my note says. What was I going to ask? Okay, I forget. Okay, let me go on. V'tir u es shikutsehem. And you saw their detestable items. Al shem shehem meusim. On account of that they are disgusting.
Kishkotsim.
Kishkatzim, like insects or rodents.
Right. That's why they're called shikutsehem.
Gilulehem, detestable idols. Shemus rachim, that they stink.
Right.
Usim, and are disgusting. Kigalah, like excrement.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I've actually seen an idol. I had a visitor stay in my house, and he was from India, I think. I don't remember exactly where he was from, but he brought me a gift.
Oh, great.
And it was a very nice carved piece with a bunch of figures on it, like a board with some figurines on it.
Right.
And it seemed very nice. But then when I looked at the little attachment that came with, little pamphlet that came with it, it said that these were gods.
Okay.
So I went to my rabbi and I asked him, I said, I doubt very much that he's giving me this. He's intending this to be an idol. I think he's just intending it to be a little tchotchke, a little artistic piece. What's the halacha? And my rabbi said, he read the pamphlet. He said, no, this is an idol. This is mamash an idol. You've got to get rid of it. You got to destroy it.
So how did you destroy it? You burnt it?
No, I just threw it in the trash. So my point is, there's nothing disgusting about this. This was a very nice. If it hadn't had the pamphlet that said that these are gods, I probably would have kept it and put it on the mantle.
Okay, so listen and explain as follows. Tell me, I'll give an example. Right? If you have a picture of a man with a little mustache, his hair nicely parted like this, and he's wearing a uniform of a brown top and a black pants with high black boots, right? Does that disgust you?
Yeah.
But if you know that's a picture of Hitler, Yamach Shemoy, then it would disgust you.
Right. But I wouldn't say that the pants and the boots are
yeah, but here we're saying, since what these represent is Avodah Zarah, right? Then like, I'll give an example. Right, it's forbidden to auction. I don't know what it smells like, but let's say somebody you go past the McDonald's and you smell a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
So you're going to say, the Meister, there's no actually, there is an Issa of Issa Hano. You're not allowed to have Hano. In other words, if I go past the Treifa restaurant and they're selling bacon, right? And I smell the bacon, there's no Issa per se of smelling bacon to get Hano from it. Because non-kosher meat, pig's meat, is not Asa Hano. However, a cheeseburger, because it's milk and meat together, the Torah was very particular about it, and it says also to even have hana.
Right.
So if you walk past the McDonald's and you smell a cheeseburger, right, you should not have hana. You should avoid benefiting from that smell.
Right.
But now, so let's take the example of such a thing. If you would smell such a thing, so there's two ways of observing it. On the one hand, the Torah says you shouldn't say, well, you know what the reason why I keep the mitzvahs is because what the goyim do is so disgusting. You shouldn't say that. Are you doing it because this is what Hashem tells you? That's why you're fulfilling the mitzvahs. It's Sheni, if it's something which represents, let's take a case, the smell of a cheeseburger. The smell of a cheeseburger, because it's asa, right, it should be repugnant to you. The actual fact that the Torah prohibits it should make you feel, something, even though be'etzem, there's nothing actually wrong with the smell. It's probably, for goyim, it smells gewaldig. Or similar, make even a better example, smell of bacon, right? So technically, smell of bacon, nothing wrong with it. Goyim like it, but when a Yid smells bacon, he shouldn't feel, oh, halavai, I could eat it. Chaval, what I'm missing, right? Because it's asa, it arouses in a Jew something, oh, this is not for me. Even though be'etzem, there's nothing really repugnant about it.
Now, I learned the exact opposite.
Over here, when they go and burn their incense, and you know this incense being burnt is for the sake of Avodah Zarah, you say, Avodah Zarah, something. I'm quoting from Fiddler on the Roof. You know, the guy asked the rabbi, what blessing do you make over the Tsar? Right? So he says, may God bless and keep the Tsar far away from us. Okay? So here too, as well, when it comes to Avodah Zarah, you've come across Avodah Zarah, I want to keep it far away from it as possible. It's something repugnant to me. Not because it's be'etzim repugnant, but because it's being used for Avodah Zarah, and Avodah Zarah is something which we have to keep far away from, and the Torah tells us to do so. Therefore, we consider, just like naturally you keep away from something foul smelling, Avodah Zarah, let's say there's incense of Avodah Zarah, which for Goyim has a beautiful, sweet smell. But for us, because not for what it is be'etzem, but what it represents.
I learned the opposite. I learned
no,
that
so I'm just trying to define for you. It's not that be'etzem it's something. So maybe my example of bacon wasn't a good example, but certainly it's things which are also bahano, was because it's when it comes to something like bacon, it's not also bahano. So technically, you could, if you go past a treifa restaurant and they're selling bacon there, you can take a whiff, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but I'm telling those things which the Torah specifically tells you, shaketz to shaktzenu, sa'ev to sa'avenu ki cheremhu. The Gemara, the pasuk in the beginning of Akev, it is. Besovi so'eva beisecha v'yiso cherem komoyu. No. Pasuk in Akev. Chapter 7, Pasuk 26. So the Torah
7:26.
tells us specifically that when it comes to Avodah Zarah, you've got to, it's something to be abominable, disgusting to you.
So you have to abominate it. The ta'ev, you need to ta'ev it.
Right, means to treat it as if it's something abominable. Okay? So it seems that from that pasuk over there, that's specifically regarding idol worship, the Torah is very particular that one should, even though maybe other things like eating non-kosher meat or something like that. The Torah, as you said correctly, the Torah says, don't treat it as if it's something stum, you know, as you're not eating it because it's disgusting. You're not eating it because HaKadosh Baruch Hu told you you mustn't eat it. Okay?
So what Rashi is telling us then in this comment is that when it says we should to'ev them, it means we should treat them as if they're like insects and rodents and refuse.
Right. In other words, we should be spiritually enough in tune that because it's something totally forbidden and the Torah forbids this for us, and the Torah tells us treat it that way, we should really feel it as something disgusting. Okay?
Okay, I mean, I still don't understand it, but I mean, I have no understanding of how a person would go about doing that. I mean, I'm just thinking about that idol. I'm supposed to think of it as excrement, but it's not excrement. It's it doesn't smell.
So I'll give an example. I'll tell you a thing. Let me tell you a little story. Some of you heard of Rabbi Steinman, Rabbi Aaron Leib Steinman, he was the Gadol Hador. He passed away years ago, about 5-6 years ago. Anyway, when he was first married, he was actually living in Switzerland, and the only apartment they could find was not so far away from a church. And it happened to be that this obviously must have been a Catholic church, that they used to burn incense there. And this is just the halachic point, nothing to do with being disgusting or not disgusting. The smell from this incense, they could smell it from where their apartment was. And it's something which you're not allowed to have a nor from it. Okay? So this was something which bothered him and his wife very much. So this is an amazing story, which if I wouldn't have had it known, come from a verified source, I would have said, it's just a stomach story. Anyway, the story goes that Rabbi Steinman said to his wife, what are we going to do about this situation? We're living here near this church, and there's this smell of the incense, and we're smelling it every day, and something forbidden. What are we going to do about it? has there been some solution? So he said, okay, maybe we should just pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should take away our sense of smell. And indeed, he and his wife, he must have been in his early 30s then, he and his wife both prayed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should take away their sense of smell. And a few days later, Rabbi Steinman says to his wife, I don't smell it anymore. And she says to him, no, neither do I. And apparently for the rest of his life, he did not have a sense of smell. I'm not expecting everybody to do what Rabbi Steinman did, because it's not expected of everybody. But, and also the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered his prayers, that he took away a sense of smell. But I'm just giving an example that somebody on a high enough spiritual level could do such a thing, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu fulfilled his wish.
Well, that story makes perfect sense to me. He didn't pray, please make it smell like excrement.
Right, I'm saying that. So we're not
But
saying
according to Rashi, that's what he should have prayed. He shouldn't have prayed, take away my sense of smell. He should have prayed, make this incense smell.
Yeah, but that means he's going to have a major problem, halachic problem. You know why? Because let's say a person's in a situation where he's davening right next to a temple of Avodah Zarah, and the smell is coming in. Is he forbidden to daven there?
I would say yes, because he's in the presence of something that's disgusting.
Oh, but it doesn't have a din of something disgusting as far as davening is concerned.
Why not?
I don't know. That's a good question. But there's some words, something which is actually intrinsically disgusting, like excrement or something like that. The Torah says you're not allowed to daven there because it's not a Mokum Kodesh, right? It says Vayu Machanecha Kodesh, and if there's Chisisa Tzeosecha, cover over your excrement. So the Torah says specifically regarding excrement, that if it Chazal interpreted that meaning as foul-smelling excrement, right? Then one has to keep a distance away, 4 amas away from where the smell ends. But that, even though idol worship is considered like something foul-smelling, but it is not in effect something foul-smelling. And in fact, so therefore, if a person is next to Avodah Zarah, there's no such thing in it. The smell of Avodah Zarah, besides the fact that there's a problem of the smell itself, because it's forbidden to get benefit, but the smell does not have a din of tzoya, doesn't have a din of excrement. So maybe he would be allowed to daven there. Let's say he had no.
It's not a Makam Kodesh.
Okay, it's a separate thing, but it is considered. It's not outside the realm of a Makam Kodesh. The fact that the smell comes there, I'm not talking about it could be within 4 amas of the Avodah Zarah itself, and maybe different. Because if 4 amas away from the smell of the incense of Avodah Zarah, doesn't make it forbidden to daven there.
Now I'm even more confused.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway, we'll have to carry on tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem. Okay.
All right, well, thank you for trying to explain it.
Okay, Seder. Very good. Have a great day.
Go to. Bye.